partners, and everyone who joined us on the online platform. We'd like to apologize for a late start, but everything seems to be back on track. My name is Katiso Molefe. I'm the provincial manager for the Gauteng office of the National Lotteries Commission. I will be co-directing the program today. Ladies and gentlemen, today is a special day in the history of the National Lotteries Commission and its partners. It is special because we are pulling down the curtain on a journey that started 5 years ago. It is a journey of the National Lotteries Commission, Department of Social Development, and the NPO sector. These three partners worked side by side towards the destination of building a foundation upon which the future of the leadership of South Africa will be built. It is a journey of building the early childhood development centers in Gauteng and all the other 8 provinces of South Africa. Just like Ms. C.C. Winans says, I can also definitely say it wasn't easy, but it was worth it. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor and a privilege to welcome you to the launch of the Gauteng Province ECD infrastructure project. We're excited to have you here and hope you enjoy the day. Like I said, I will be directing the program with my colleague from Social Development, Ms. Mpho Papale. And I would like to hand over to Ms. Mpho Papale to acknowledge the guests who are with us. Mpho?
Good morning, everyone. Dumelang, goye more, ausheni. Today we are here for celebration, so we should be happy. And I'm sure if we are having our little kids, they'll be singing a lot of songs, saying it's a happy day. So my job as my co-program director has already introduced me. My name is Mpho Papale from the Department of Social Development. I'm going to introduce the guests today because we are saying if there's an event, Kasitswana, we are saying, Mueng itla re jeka wena. So, to introduce our guests today, I'll start with our Honorable Deputy Minister, Me Henrietta Bukopani Zulu, our mother in the Department of Social Development, and followed by the MEC for Social Development, Ms. Nomathemba Mokgethi, and Nomathemba Mokgethi in Gauteng. We are saying we are here in Gauteng. In this province, then I'll also welcome the MMC from Health and Social Development, the City of Joburg, Councillor Eunice Mtina, and the Executive Mayor for the City of Joburg, Mr. Makubo. So we are here in their place, and they are also with us here. Then I'll also welcome the Chairperson for the Portfolio Committee for Social Development, Ntate Mr. Mondli Gungubele. Also with us today, because we know that we have different partners and we should know where we come from, I also introduce the Chairperson of the National House of Traditional Leaders, Inkosi Babezitha Sipho Mahlangu. Also with us, we have from Mawewe, our Ndabezitha K. Mkashwa from Mpumalanga. Also our leaders at our traditional. And we also have our partners, the Chairperson of the National Lotteries Commission Board, Professor Nebutanda. Also with us, we have the National Lottery Commission Commissioner, Mewarona, Mrs. Charlotte Mampani. With us today, we have our mother, who is the CEO from National Development Agency, our little sister or our little brother in the Department of Social Development, Mewarona, Ms. Tamo Mzombe. We also have from Ituba, our CEO, Me Charmaine Mabuza. As I've already mentioned that there's a lot of people who are our partners who joined us to celebrate this day today with our children, with our practitioners. We also welcome Ms. Mazubuko from our partner department, the Department of Health, who are assisting us with Bomampimpana. It's where they start, the conception. We need them to assist us so that we get our healthy children. Then with us also we have our partners who are assisting us in this ECD sector. From UNICEF, the country representative, Ms. Christine Muhingana. And also from our NPO, we know that our ECD centers, they are at NPO level. We have our stakeholders who are also our partners. Our CEO from the South African Congress for Early Childhood Development, Mr. Leonard Saul. Also with us, we have our guests, our VVVIPs, our ECD centers. And the person who will be representing them today is from Tabom Preschool, Me Maditente Fanuel. And also we have the ECD centers that we are launching, that we are celebrating today, that we are happy about them, and we are saying, go on and move and do us proud. Our ECD center in Gauteng province from the different regions. We have Tabong ECD Center, we have Carol Shaw, we have Ebenezer, we have Masebe, we have Mapule, we have Tisetso, and I know they are watching and they are doing Mihulukwani saying we are also here and we are the VVVIP who are here to celebrate today. And also we don't forget Gauteng province, our regions in the different departments who are also here with us, connecting and also celebrating with us. And as we know that there are different people who were supposed to be with us, who would have really liked to be here and celebrate with us, that we got apologies from our Honorable Deputy Minister from the Department of Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities, Honorable Mkhize. She's not here with us and we received the apology. We also received apology from our Deputy Minister from the Department of Basic Education, Honorable Muhaule. Also from the Department of Home Affairs, because we are not doing this alone. We are saying, our Deputy Minister, Honorable Nzuza. And also, who couldn't be here with us, we have our Honorable J.H. Jeffrey, who is the Deputy Minister from the Department of Justice and Correctional Services. Also, who would really like to be here is our Honorable Phahla, who is the Deputy Minister of the Department of Health. And also, our chairperson from SABC, who are making us to connect and also for us to communicate. Mr. Bongumusa Makatini, who couldn't be here with us. But I know we are connecting and they are all here spiritually. And wherever they are working towards the development of our younger children. And those is our guest. And we are saying today, it's a happy day. Let's celebrate. And I'll call my hand, Ntate Katiso.
Thank you very much, Mpo. Thank you very much for acknowledging our guests. So we're continuing with the program, and I would like to introduce our first speaker, the Commissioner of the National Lotteries Commission, Ms. Thabang Charlotte Mampane. I have worked with Ms. Mampane for 8 years now, and she's one of the great leaders I've ever worked with and encountered. One of the characteristics is her passion. The passion for South African citizens, especially the poor and the disadvantaged. She has taught us that our work as a funder is not about the people who run the NPOs or us as the employees of the National Lotteries Commission. It is about the people served by these institutions. I would like to call to the podium Mayor Charlotte Thabamambane to tell us the purpose of the event. Commissioner.
Dumelang bagaetsho, good morning. Program Director Cayman, thank you for your kind words. Osumpo, re leboga thata go nna now. Ke bona gore re tla bua le Katiso Mebogopane. Ha go ka siama re tla bua le Katiso a mo create site office mo le ekare she's annexed now. She'll be part of us. Bagaetsho, it is a great day. And I would just like to say one of our program directors got to acknowledge everybody who's participating in this launch today. But let me take this opportunity just once more to thank Mebo Khopane for having championed this cause. Wa mona gore ke motho o na le mponelo pele. She got to convince us that the launch or launches could be done virtually. And today, actually, Mebo Khopane, I don't know whether it is a coincidence that one of the ECDs, Lina la Yonake Ebenezer, I think it's a very significant and important moment for us today. Chairperson ya rona, the visionary, Prof. Nevutanda, the man who got to conceptualize this idea 5 years ago and got to give us marching orders so that we run and deliver these ECDs for South Africans. Rago leboga, Prof. You know, there's so much we've been telling people about these ECDs and how you would fight with us from time to time. I can't forget the day we came back to you and told you that in one province there were 20 applications and 2 applications only were compliant, that you sent us back to go and do more work until we could capacitate those people, we could train them, we could make sure that they submit compliant applications, and ultimately close to 10 ECDs in that province were actually built. To all the partners, all protocol observed, bo deputy ministers, bo Re Gungubele Mutlutlegi, bo Mem Zobe, bo Mamoketi, all of you, nkasi le fetse ba le dumedisitse, bo Mema Buza, me bogolo bogolo, Mutlutlegi Khosi Mahlangu ra leboga. Ke bona gore Khosi, you got to really stand up as well and champion this cause. So, there's a proverb that says, do not judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant. While we analyze things differently, I take it that it is a reminder that seeds, small as they are, have a potential to grow into something bigger than their beginnings. It is up to us to make sure that we keep planting. That is what the National Lotteries Commission has done with the ECD funding. For those that have not watched the series of ECD launches, I'd like to look back quickly. Today, as we hand over ECD infrastructure to the Gauteng province, it makes the culmination of a 5-year-long journey that started with a targeted call for applications in 2014. With an understanding of the goals of the National Development Plan to reduce inequality and eliminate poverty, the NLC took steps to make an impact in an area of great significance, and it is a lasting impact, and that is in the foundation phase. Now, I'm sure you would have heard Prof. Nevutanda make the analogy of building a house at a previous launch and understand that without a solid, firm foundation built on good ground, no walls can stand for long. Mebo Khopane, it was after the board's approval that the NLC advertised a call. We received almost 5,000 applications from different ECD centers. And this is where we are. I know that you are going to be giving information about the number of those ECDs that have been completed and the ones that you and the Department of Social Development will be looking after. The 203 organizations across the country were approved for funding by a structure that adjudicates projects at the NLC. That structure is called the Distribution Agency. And in this case, it was the Distributing Agency of Charities, which at that time was led by a very passionate woman, Lina la gagwe ke Miss Nomathemba Kela. We know how she got to work hard at the moment. She's no longer serving in that structure. These buildings are the same shape, size, and can accommodate a maximum of 120 children, while the edutainers come fully equipped with an administration unit, a kitchen, and a sick bay. Now, in 2016, we visited each province to highlight the start of this project. The sword-turning event for Gauteng was held in Sebokeng on a rainy day. At that event, and others like it, the community came out to celebrate what was to come. Reason would have it that the children who were in daycare at that time have since moved on to big school. But the excitement from parents of that time remained the same, simply for the impact this infrastructure would have in the community over time, a demonstration of the village it takes to raise a child. Today, the walls are standing, the doors of learning are opened, just as it was envisioned in the Freedom Charter. Studies tell us that by the age of 5, almost 90% of a child's brain will be developed. These are the formative years where factors such as adequate health care, good nutrition, good quality child care, and nurturing, a clean and safe environment, early learning and stimulation to a large extent impact on this human being until he or she is an adult. Deputy Minister, let me also appreciate your endless support and determination that we see this project through together. I know you've been pulling us, ma'am, screaming and kicking. It really gives credence to the proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. This legacy project will go far in impacting on different communities. With every province, with every presentation of the real people behind these projects, one cannot help but tip one's hat to the people and at the coalface, the one who roll up their sleeves and do the work of changing lives. With you, as part of our value chain, we can only be stronger. Closing off this series of events does not mean we will now fold our hands. In fact, the real work begins now. And for us to make real change, we need to continue to work together as we have been. Sorry. May we continue to learn from each other, from our traditional leaders, sharing indigenous knowledge, experts in education, parents, educators. We all have a stake in this very important stage of our children because we have one objective, and it's to see all those who utilize these facilities becoming responsible, accountable future leaders of our country. What more would we have achieved if we do not give them tools for the future, just like Tata Mandela told us that education is the most powerful weapon which we can use to change the world. Let's continue to plant our seeds of hope and in a positive manner, the seeds that will have a long-lasting impact, that will change the lives of our people. Ke a lo leboga, and thanks to all who've been with us in this journey.
Ra leboga mme wa rona, our Commissioner Charlotte Mampane. And as you already said, Hore, why are we here today? To celebrate and also to continue planting that seed that we are making for our children. And she also mentioned that this will be a lasting impact. When you are at an ECD center, the foundation that we are building, we are saying that the brain developed at the age of 2. So after that, the brain is developed. It means the child won't forget that I was in this ECD center, and it's through the partnership. And as we are saying that, we didn't know how to do this because it's the new normal. We were saying, no, it means we'll launch next year, we'll launch wherever. Then our mother was saying, we can do this. Thank you very much, our Commissioner, Charlotte Mampane. And moving forward, we are saying this is a journey, and it started long time ago, 5 years back, building those ECD centers in the different provinces. And we were celebrating and still celebrating. And today we are at the last province, which is Gauteng province. So we'll be looking at those ECD centers that we are saying we have made it. They are here. Then we'll see where these ECD centers are and also how beautiful they are. The structure that Mampane was talking about, that it accommodates a maximum of 120 children. So let's look at our ECD centers in Gauteng province through the visual where they will be saying, here we are. Thank you.
Poverty goes hand in hand with malnutrition and disease. The incidence of malnutrition and deficiency diseases is very high amongst Africans.
Kusnyana, more biggest now. If you look at 16, you better more a 2.5 room. Lottery, come for your 2 second for a renally crash is one a more biggest now. Social development, you will live Hatata, have a live and pressure kill you. Once ever Tocomela for the cities of no Osama Sinti. Compliance eating, nutrition eating, ke ba leboga thata ka mosebetsi o mogolo wa o itseng.
My name is Gauteng. I live in Soweto. The name of our ECD center is Ebenezer Child Development Program. We had about 2 containers, which were 2 by 6 meters. And we had about 24 children there. Social development helped us with funding. We'd like to thank Lottery for helping our wings to grow. Ebenezer Child Development Program has grown up to now. Our community take care of the structure, and our children are very confident and they're doing very well when they go to school.
The principal at Thabong Christian Preschool, Sebokeng ka Boitumelo. Thabong Creche started in 1994 January. 2017, I told funding eka 3.8 million. So we have a NLC partnership with Nabalona, the social development, the ECD.
our ECD's Carol Shaw Memorial Center. We started this ECD in the year 2000. We applied for funding for nutrition from social development. We are so grateful about that donation because it helps us to give the people a healthy nutrition. Our children are so healthy, and we are able to take from that donation stipends to pay our teachers. Lastly, thank you, NLC. Continue doing the good job. Thank you, social development. Continue to be our shoulder to cry on. We thank you so much. Thank you.
Creche Daycare is started on the year 2000. Illegal two-room shack. Registered annually social development on the year 2007. Social development there as well as the Eva Fanda, it was more thing, and I tell me the part of whole because it was a social development. And then it came well for approach the lottery. I had a nice structure. So since this one is so whole, he gave social development, the NLC. Until you know by the massive decay, Kimpo and Kolo Elomore, I spent a wheel because until very letting you on a and to in this community, Yamama Shimon section 3. Libona Garator Givala on behalf because Basarata structure say by Rata Creche by supporter. So Libona Garator Cavalebo have a NLC, they support their community Elor and Leona.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's evidence of what we have done in terms of the ECD structure. The audio visuals there, they bring a sense of warmth in my heart because we come a long way on the screen. And I also have a colleague from my office, Mr. Ayanda Noma, with whom we worked very hard to make sure that the ECDs that you saw there are up and running and then everything is in place. Thank you very much for the audiovisual picture there. Our next speaker is Ms. Tieho Rapo. She's the founder and principal of Carol Shaw Memorial Center in Ziribeko. She's going to be speaking on behalf of all the ECD centers, and then she's going to be speaking particularly on behalf of the following people. Me Maditende Fanuel from Tabon Crèche in Sebokeng. Me Mapule Mokhosinyana from Mapule Kido Center in Beggersdal. Me Evelyn Mabeleng from Tisetso in South Hills. Me Malewo Masibi from Majanding in Hamaskral. And me Buemo Buhatu from Ebenezer in Bramfisher. You can go ahead, Merapo. Thank you.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tia Horapo, Project Manager, Carol Shaw Memorial Center, ECD. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. It is my pleasure to be given this opportunity to say a few words at this lounge about our ECDs. As you probably know that the National Lottery had over the years been identifying ECDs that they could assist in many ways. In 2015, the National Lottery identified 8 early childhood development centers to fund them with buildings. Also not forgetting the Department of Social Development that had always been our pillar for our ECDs. If it wasn't for social development, many of these ECDs would have not been able to stay afloat. The Department of Social Development briefed the Committee of the South African Integrated Program of Action for Early Childhood Development. ECDs had been identified as a key part of the National Development Plan in addressing unemployment and inequality, but there were policy gaps in terms of infrastructure and the sectors responsible. The integrated program had been approved by the Cabinet on the 18th September 2013, but the costing process was still in progress with National Treasury. With that being said, the National Lottery came into play and decided to fund us as the ECDs from Gauteng with these buildings that you see behind us. We as Early Childhood Development, we would like to extend our gratitude to them, and they bridged the gap. And because of them, we now have proper infrastructure to give proper learning for our kids in preparing them for schooling. We thank you, National Lottery. We thank you, the Department of Social Development. Thank you.
Merapo, re bona go tletse boitumelo ka mantswe a hao o leboga partnership e ya social development le National Lotteries. How bona di tshwantsho tsela, when you look at those pictures, those beautiful colors, how this partnership has made it possible for you to get a proper structure where you are able to stimulate your children and they play and they are all happy. So next, I'll introduce from Ituba, our CEO, Measurement Mabuza, and Ituba is a regulator, assisting National Lotteries. So when we see these sales of tickets, we should know that Ituba is there. Over to you, Measurement Mabuza.
Thank you very much, and let me start by greeting everybody who's here today. Through you, Chairperson, Professor Nefatanda, through you, Commissioner, and you and your team, Ms. Charlotte Mampana. Let me start by acknowledging all our distinguished guests who are here, and importantly, the recipients of these ECD. Thank you, and all protocol observed. I think I saw a heavy list today, so I'm not going to go through each and everybody, but we observe and acknowledge your presence here today. Let me start by saying, when Ituba was awarded the license to operate the National Lottery, it was with a clear understanding of our mandate that we assumed our duties with a sense of urgency. Our duty as the operator was to revive and reinvigorate the stagnated National Lottery brand, and more importantly, to raise funds that will contribute towards the embed of the South African socio-economic landscape. Days like today give me great pleasure to be part of and to witness the purpose of the National Lottery coming full circle. We know that joyous occasions like today's ECD handover and many others that have taken place prior to this would not be possible without you, the players who make this possible. As each time you purchase a lottery ticket, a portion goes towards contributing to good causes. So I explained this. Each time you play or purchase a lottery ticket, a portion goes to good causes. So don't feel guilty. Make sure that you are doing your national duty. That's what I always say. In fact, I would like to share with you, in other countries like Scandinavian countries, people actually see the lotteries as a sense of duty, and they take it so seriously, like when people pay or contribute tithes to churches. So I hope that you too can carry your ticket and know that each time you're carrying it, you are actually contributing towards making somebody's life much better. I therefore want to acknowledge and thank you all, you who are our players. You are the real stars of the show. Ituba has made playing easier and simple for you. You can find us in many of your local shops and supermarkets. We now have an app, which means you can play anytime and anywhere, and our games are available at your convenience. In fact, we've partnered with major banking institutions like ABSA, FNB, and any of the major banks, and some of the communication apps like Vodacom and MTN also carry our app. So you can play the games anytime, anywhere. This convenient access to the National Lottery has enabled our players to play for life-changing jackpots. These jackpots include so many, such as the 232 million jackpot, which still holds the record of being the highest jackpot in Africa, and many, the 145 and the 153 million, which was won during COVID. You can imagine winning 153 million rand during COVID when our spirits are so down. We had so many winners. In fact, I'll share with you some of the statistics. It is based on such evidence that the World Lottery Association declared Ituba as one of the top lotteries globally. We are proud of this accolade and honored to be given an opportunity to put South Africa, and in fact Africa, on the global map. Just to share with you some of the interesting statistics or facts, in the last year, just last year alone, we created 109 million winners, of which 350,000 were jackpot winners, and of that 55 were mega jackpot winners, above in the range of about 100 million rand were won by those 55. But just to re-say, 109 million people won last year. That's a lot of people, actually double our population. Since COVID-19 lockdown, we've paid almost 500 million rand in winnings, which was really needed in our community. We also continue to support our small enterprises through the commissions that we pay to our retailers. Last year alone, we paid back an estimate of about 360 million rand in the hands of our retail partners in the form of commission. In the past year, we also paid 1.6 billion rand into the coffers of the National Lotteries in order for them to continue this good work of assisting qualifying NGOs. In total, we have paid an estimate of about 9 billion rands to good causes. We hold the record of being the highest contributor year on year to good causes. We know at the moment, our country's economy is on a slow recovery path. Sadly, it always means it's always citizens in the previously marginalized communities that suffer the most. The president has shared the government's recovery plan, and I believe organizations such as the NLC and Ituba have an opportunity to help accelerate the economic recovery by honoring our respective mandates with integrity. We saw the role that the NLC played during COVID by ensuring that funds were donated to the Solidarity Fund and directly to NGOs so that they can continue to fund and continue to do their work, which they're supposed to do in the communities during the difficult times. I would like to congratulate the NLC for taking the lead in this respect. I would also further like to congratulate them for having taken the bold decision of entrusting the lottery operations to a Black women-led organizations long before the set-aside which our president gave direction very recently about. The lottery has become part of South African culture and our heritage. And as Ituba, we continue to bring innovation and life-changing jackpots to South Africans. I want to remind you all that tomorrow our combined Powerball and Powerball Plus jackpot is a whooping 129 million rand, and I expect that every one of you will be carrying a ticket. I therefore urge you to continue panda, pusher, play. May we continue to shine the light on others, together uplifting the lives of South Africans. I thank you and I congratulate you, NLC, for the wonderful work you've been doing in our communities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Mabuza, for reminding us that when playing the lottery, we don't actually lose because the portion of that money goes back to the funding of good causes, and that translates into the improvement of the livelihoods of our South African citizens. Thank you very much. Our next speaker, who's going to give us a message of support, is Ms. Christine Muhigana. Ms. Muhigana is a country representative from the United Nations International Children Emergency Fund, also called UNICEF. UNICEF is a partner in aiding national efforts to improve the health, nutrition, education, and general welfare of children. Ms. Muhigana has extensive experience in the planning and monitoring of United Nations development programs. Ms. Muhigana, I'd like to hand over to you.
Thank you. Distinguished guests, partners, and friends, UNICEF is delighted today to be part of this beautiful ceremony in the province of Gauteng. As earlier speakers have already said, early childhood refers to the early period of life with specific reference to what constitutes development and how development in a child occurs. The first years of life are critical formative periods in laying the foundation for cognitive, social, emotional, language, and physical development. Early childhood provides a window of incredible opportunity, especially as the pace and complexity of early brain development in the first years of life are unparalleled compared to other periods in building the human brain. The importance of early childhood development has already been established as the core intervention for the country's development and future capabilities, with the NDP confirming that South Africa will make early childhood development a top priority among the measures to improve the quality of education as well as long-term prospects for future generations. Thus, not only an investment in the child, but being recognized as a public good that contributes to the growth and development of society as a whole in the medium and long term, as set out in the National Integrated Early Childhood Development Policy that was developed in 2015. Early learning and development opportunities for children under 5 are provided by parents, as well as through early learning and development programs, which include ECD centers, which are based in the communities or at schools. Parents partner with these ECD programs, like the ECD centers being launched here today, to support the early learning and development of their young children. Building on this partnership between parents and early childhood development programs or centers, today is a sterling example of how partnerships can strengthen the provisions of early learning opportunities through this collaboration between the Department of Social Development and the National Lotteries Commission to continue to expand the provision of services to young children. UNICEF in South Africa is also very pleased to be partner with the government of South Africa over the past 2 decades to advance children's access to quality early childhood development programs. We have worked closely with the Department of Social Development and other government departments on the development of the National Integrated Early Childhood Development Policy, and most recently, at the onset of the national state of disaster due to COVID-19, with the Chwarangano Kabana, Let's Play, Learn and Grow Together series as additional resource materials to support all parents of young children at home. This was initiated by the Department of Social Development with the Department of Basic Education, partnering with UNICEF, the Lego Foundation, and also in collaboration with the National Early Childhood Development Alliance, and ECD, and the South African Congress for Early Childhood. It is only through partnerships that we can make sure that all children, but in particular, children living in rural areas and in poverty, as well as children with disabilities, continue to gain access to quality and inclusive early childhood development programs. On behalf of UNICEF, congratulations to the Department of Social Development and the National Lotteries Commission for what you have achieved through these partnerships. And to the persons to whom these ECD centers are being handed over today, remember, this is not just a building, but a magic place where you will partner with partners, other caregivers, to lay the foundations for life for each child that enters and exits your doors. You have the opportunity to create early childhood development programs that provide quality, play-based early learning opportunities that are inclusive of all our children. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mme Muhingana from UNICEF. And indeed, it's true, UNICEF has been our partner over 2 decades. Some of us were not even here, but we get UNICEF here, moving and pushing this childhood, early learning. And they are also in our intersectoral forum where we meet as different organizations, the departments, and also NGOs and any other ECD stakeholder where we are deliberating on issues for children. And we partnered also with UNICEF is through when we were developing the National Integrated Early Childhood Development Policy. And you also mentioned the most important partners in this journey, our parents who are assisting us in stimulating children because they are the ones who are staying with children. And through UNICEF, we were able with other partners to have programs that we can take home, that we can also assist parents so that they can stimulate children. Thank you very much, Mme Muhingana. I'll also welcome our partners. They are also in the advocacy, awareness, and also pushing with us to develop our children, to make sure that they are well taken care of. And they are also looking at our workforce in our ECD programs, our ECD centers, our practitioners where they are advocating, and also making sure that they are being empowered so that when they provide the programs, they should be quality programs. Our partners who are South African Congress for Early Childhood Development, I will welcome Ntate Leonard Sol, who is also in this journey with us. Over to you, Mr. Sol.
Thank you, Program Director, for the opportunity, and I greet this morning our Honorable Deputy Minister of Social Development, Ms. Henrietta Bokopani Zulu, our Chairperson of the National Lotteries Commission, Professor Nevin Tanda, our Commissioner of the NLC, Ms. Charlotte Mampane, and the Chairperson of the DSD Portfolio Committee, Mr. Mondli Guguletso. We also welcome all our distinguished guests, and especially this morning, our ECD practitioners. Ladies and gentlemen, as we started 2020, it was a year that none of us have anticipated. There were so many plans we had work-wise, in early childhood development, in our personal lives, and especially with regards to the early childhood development sector. There have been three areas that we really looked forward to making progress this year. The first area is the process of migrating early childhood development from Department of Social Development to the Department of Basic Education. This migration has caused some anxiety, some doubt, some questions from the early childhood development sector. And this process has definitely been slowed down. Secondly, we've been working towards finalizing registration procedures, especially for non-registered programs. As you know, these programs who are unregistered, they do not have access to funding or any subsidies. And we were really looking forward within the intersectoral forum for early childhood development to finalize these processes. The third area, we were actually working towards a learning program for each early childhood development using the National Curriculum Framework. So the appearance of COVID-19 and subsequent lockdown has slowed down this process and our plans. Also, what has happened, our early childhood development programs were closed in March, and 6 months down the line, in July, early childhood development centers were given the opportunity to reopen. But as we do know, the hard lockdown has created a lot of hardship for our early childhood development practitioners. And parents were not able to pay because some of our parents in our most disadvantaged communities were not able to work, with the result that ECD practitioners did not receive a salary, the majority of them during this period. When there was the court case that indicated that ECD programs could open, we had a challenge, as most of our programs could not reopen due to the lack of funds for personal protective equipment, the vandalism of ECD buildings that occurred during this period, and the retrenchment of staff due to lack of funding. So, ladies and gentlemen, today's process of handing over early childhood development facilities must be welcomed. It will go a long way to support communities that were hard hit by the pandemic. And we wish to indicate that the early childhood development facilities that will be handed over today, I have identified 4 areas that they can be utilized for the benefit of our communities. The first area would be providing care and support to our children. And that is very important. Our early childhood development practitioners are trained towards a level 4 qualification. They are competent, they are passionate, and they are able to support and care for our children while parents are working. The second area is to provide a hub for providing nutrition to children. We all are aware of what has happened during the hard lockdown, that many children did not have access to nutrition as they usually do when they attend a early childhood development facility. So with this handing over of these centers, we are confident that these children will be assisted in that area. The third area is providing a hub for assisting parents to support children. It is important that there is alignment between what parents have expectations for their children and the expectations of early childhood development practitioners. So the most important relationship that these facilities can harbor, can actually facilitate, can actually be a space for, is to develop the relationship between parents and early childhood development practitioners. And the last area is that these early childhood development facilities can be used for capacity building programs. Our communities, our parents, our practitioners need to be facilitated in the area of technology. They need to be capacitated in the area of having one garden for each early childhood development center. They need to be capacitated in the area of play as an approach to providing early childhood development. So we really, as an organization that is responsible and has the mandate of mobilizing ECD practitioners and ECD centers, we really want to express our appreciation for the fact that more and more of these programs are actually assisting our children and communities. We hereby thank the Department of Social Development, the Department of Health, the National Lotteries Commission, the executive mayor, as mayors for making this project possible. We wish to thank the staff and parents who will take these facilities today and will be making use of it. But all over and above, we really want to urge our ECD practitioners who will be working in these ECD facilities to make us proud as a sector by making early childhood development your priority. Program Director, I thank you for the opportunity this morning.
Thank you very much, and Tate Sol, the message, the support, and also your commitment as an organization, as partners, in making sure that we all achieve the same goal, which is development of our young children. You talked a lot about registration issues, that we work together, and also mentioned the challenges that are there in our ECD sector, and which were made worse by the pandemic, where our centers were closed, but as a team, as Intersectoral Forum, NPO, and the different sectors, we work together to make sure that they reopen and they are capacitated in terms of our COVID regulations so that they can take care of our children and teach them. And as you are saying that the practitioners, they should make us proud and be the ones who are stimulating the children and building the future. Thank you, Tate Sol, and thank you for the continued partnership and working together with the different departments and also with the Department of Social Development. And I'll call one of our partners also, the National Department of Health. When we talk about a child, where the child starts, the first 1,000 days, issues around nutrition, issues around immunization of children, we are looking at our partner, the Department of Health. And as you know, we have the nutrition guidelines, which are specifically for the ECD centers. And our practitioners, our cooks are being capacitated, and we're working together with the Department of Health. I'll call upon Mayor Mazibuko from the Department of Health to come and give a message of support, and in terms of how we're working together to make sure that we develop our children. Over to you, Mayor Mazibuko.
Thank you, Program Director, and good morning. I am going to deliver a message of support on behalf of our Deputy Minister, Minister Dr. Joe Pasha. My name is Ntombi Mazibuko. I'm responsible for the child program in the Department of Health. I'm going to read the speaker notes from the Minister. Program Directors, Mr. Katiso Molife and Ms. Ivy Rapport, the Deputy Minister of Social Development, Ms. Henrietta Bogopane Zulu, the Chairperson for Portfolio Committee on Social Development, Mr. Mondli Gungubele, the Chairperson of National House of Traditional Leaders, Inkosi Sipho Mahlangu, the MEC for Social Development, Ms. Nomathemba Buketi, the Executive Mayor of the City of Johannesburg, Mr. Jeffrey Makubo, the representative for the Early Childhood Development Crutches, Mrs. Malitende Fanuel from Tabong Preschool and Crutch, the country representative from UNICEF, Ms. Christine Mahingana, the CEO for National Development Agency, Ms. Tamo Mzobe, the CEO for Ituba, Mrs. Charmaine Mabuza, the CEO for South African Congress for Early Childhood Development, Mr. Leonard Sol, the National Lottery Board Chairperson, Professor Alfred Nebutanda, ladies and gentlemen. We have a collective responsibility to ensure that South Africa's youngest children receive the care they need to survive and thrive. Healthy and happy children development includes the physical, emotional, cognitive domains of development. These influence the well-being, stunting, mental health, heart disease, competency in literacy and numeracy, criminality, and economic participation throughout life. Our parents and caregivers play a huge role in our children's nurturing, care, and protection. Their actions determine the child's health, education, and social outcomes throughout the life. It starts earlier than we think. As the health department, our focus today is on children, their mothers, caregivers, and families, on how we are jointly responsible for ensuring that we raise children who are happy, healthy, and who grow up into healthy adults who live a productive and fulfilling life. We focused for so many years on reducing the number of children who die before their 5th birthday. And whilst we are by no means complacent about the number of children who still die each year, it is encouraging.
Thank you very much, Mema Zibuko. The new normal that we are in, we know that we sometimes have those challenges, but the message is there, and we know that the Department of Health is there, and she was talking about issues around child mortality, that we shouldn't see our children dying. We need to make sure that we take care of our children, and also to prevent other things like hunger. Our children shouldn't die from hunger, whilst we are having our early childhood development program, where we are providing the nutritious food. Thank you very much, Mema Zubuko from the Department of Health. I'll welcome now our sister, our family from the National Development Agency, who are part of social development, our CEO, Tamo Mzobe. We're working hand in hand. This is a family thing. It runs within our blood. We are aiming towards the same goal, which is making sure that we develop our children. And NDA, they are working so tirelessly, making sure that they provide training, they empower. Mr. Sol talked about empowerment, and we're going to use those structures to make sure that we empower our committees in our ECD centers and also our practitioners and National Development Agency. We're working together in those matters to make sure that our partners, our programs are empowered, and we have quality programs in our ECD centers. Metamo Mzobe, for your message of support, over to you, CEO.
Thank you very much, Program Directors, Mayor Ivy. Let me take the opportunity.
Okay, partners.
Mr. Mo, we can't really hear you.
Send my greetings to Inkosi Ubaba Unjunkulu, I would say Undabezit. And then greetings to our Deputy Minister, Mabo Khobane Zulu, the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, Baba Umondli Kungubele, the Board Chairperson, Professor Nebutanda, Umama, National Lotteries Commissioner, Umama Charlotte Mampane, and our colleagues from UNICEF, the resident representative for UNICEF, and all colleagues that are here and esteemed guests, good morning. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate NLC for the job well done and adhering and heeding to the call of the universal access to ECD, which was pronounced some years ago by the governing party. We want to appreciate the opportunity as National Development Agency for being in partnership for so many years with NLC in making sure that the compliance part that they would eventually be investing to is just dealt with from the part of the governance to the part of the capacity building of the practitioners. The National Development Agency is mandated to deal with the issues of capacity building to the civil society organization, which is inclusive of the early childhood development centers. It's also capacitated as mandated to do the research in terms of making sure that the programs that are offered at these ECD centers by civil society organizations are informed by empirical studies that
points us to the direction where we're supposed to invest our resources as government and private partners. Also, the the NDA is mandated as well to conduct funds from various donors, whether internationally or private or from government, to make sure that these centers benefit to invest in the lives of the children that they look after. We are happy to say, as a national development, in the past 5 years, we've managed to give training to the 6,000 plus or minus 6,000 practitioners to level 4 in ensuring that whatever services and whatever programs that they render to these young souls is an investment that will stand a test of time. We are also happy to indicate that in our partnership with institutions of higher learning and Fort Hare, we've worked on the studies that is touching on the lives of the ECD children in the parenting side. And the study was very clear in the importance role of the fathers in the lives of the children. And upon those recommendations, we have since had programs that are dealing with the roles that the father can play in the life of the child in the early stages of life within the first 1,000 days, so that that child can grow up being attached to the father. And I think the pandemic, which is COVID-19, has brought it bare to the surface that the role of the father, if it is taken care of at the early stages of life, we wouldn't suffer the issues of gender-based violence and femicide. We wouldn't find the issues of the child being snatched and the child being killed. So we are happy to say it's such studies and such partnerships that has led us to partner with Network Action Group, which is NEG, which is a very rural network organization dealing with mobilizing ECDs in rural areas to ensure that we link them to the donors that are available to invest in them. We are also, during this time, taking the opportunity to acknowledge the World Food Day that we recently celebrated, and the celebration and commemoration of the International Day of Poverty Eradication to be such a relevant factor during this time, since the child has to have a very nutritious food during the time when they are young and attending school. And we want to take this opportunity to say thank you to the practitioners who make sure that these kids are taken care of in terms of care and support, in terms of nutrition, and in terms of administering programs that will bear fruit in the journey of the child's life. I want to also to take this opportunity to appreciate the role and the zeal that our Deputy Minister has in making sure that such programs are not downplayed when the time comes for us to shine and tell our good stories. We know that we were coming from the back foot of anxiety brought by the pandemic, but it's such moments where we look back with pride and say all the journey that we have journeyed together was worth it. It couldn't be a better moment to appreciate the ITUBA for the role that they continue to play in making sure that NLC does invest and other community and other citizens contribute to what now has yielded to the benefit of the ECDs. These are not just structures. This is dignity that is offered to the young ones. And I can tell you right now, when you go and see these structures, you really would think that you are in the urban areas, in the center of towns. And it's such dignity that is enshrined in our constitution that we need to give to these communities or our future leaders, which is the young children. I wouldn't want to take much time in emphasizing the importance of having good governance in our ECDs. If we don't strengthen the capacity of the committee members, if we don't strengthen the capacity of oversight processes, we wouldn't have compliant CSOs, we wouldn't have compliant ECD to be afforded such opportunities, because some of the processes of applying for donations and applying for funding and resources, it has to talk to the nature within which you run your institution, the nature within which you account and you become responsible for the resources that you have benefited. And we are walking the journey with these institutions in the main in rural areas so that they don't drop the ball on the capacity that National Development Agency has invested in them, benefiting the children. So we were happy to say we will make sure as NDA that they don't fall back where they don't comply, where the books are not in order, so that other donors will be attracted by the investment which is and NLC has invested in these communities, and these are community structure. And NDA will continue to mobilize and dialogue with communities to take these assets, take good care of these assets as they take good care of their own homes. So we want to assure in our support that this investment will be the pride of the community, not only the sites that have benefited, because the children who are accessing this must live it in a good state so that other children will have an opportunity to have a dignified environment where they get nourishment, where they get care and support, where they feel safe and they are protected. We want to say, God bless you as you continue to journey, and we call for partners beyond just NLC, partners beyond UNICEF, partners beyond just government, to say we can put together our hands and we can change the landscape of poverty, and we can break the cycle of poverty by investing to the early childhood development. Thank you very much, Program Director.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mzobe, for the words of encouragement. NPOs naturally are community-based organizations, and the work that you're doing at the NDA of capacity building, research, and skills development will go a long way in ensuring that we convert our NPOs into the institutions that we really want them to be, that can drive our future. Our next speaker is the Executive Mayor of the City of Johannesburg, Mr. Job Makhubu, and we'd like to hand over to him to give us his words of encouragement and address. Over to you, Executive Mayor.
Program directors, let me greet the Deputy Minister of Social Development, Mayor Henrietta Bokopani Zulu, Mayor Nomathemba Mukheti, MEC for Social Development in this great province of ours, called Gauteng, the member of the Mayoral Committee for Social Health and Social Development in the City of Johannesburg, Mayor Eunice Bongile Mgcina, and the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, Date Mondle Kungubele, Inkosi Sipho Mahlangu, the Chair of the National Council of Traditional Leaders. Let me greet the leadership of the National Lottery Commission, greet the recipients of from the sector of what's being unveiled today. All protocol observed, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. As the City of Johannesburg, we really appreciate the work done by the National Lotteries Commission, by Social Development Department nationally and in the province. We congratulate all those who are involved in this investment to create a good base for our children and for posterity. We congratulate the sector, especially through their resilience during bad times, and that at least now the future looks bright with the investment from the National Lotteries Commission. Ladies and gentlemen, at face value, it might seem that there is nothing that brings issues as diverse as ECD, the struggling economy, migration, and COVID-19 together. Yet these factors contribute to a lesser or greater extent to our presence here today. Our gathering here today, albeit virtually, at a time when our country's economy has been severely hit by this COVID-19 pandemic, it is estimated that as many as 2 million jobs have been lost since the pandemic hit South Africa around March this year. And an untold number of South Africans have lost their relatives and loved ones to this virus. The City of Johannesburg is such that whenever individuals anywhere in the country or even across our borders come under financial stress, lose their jobs, their businesses, and other forms of livelihood, we are in an attractive proposition as a destination. People believe they can reverse their misfortune and even create a better life than they previously had. That has been an essence of this city from the moment it was founded as a mining town in the 19th century. And this is set to continue in this trajectory. The city of Johannesburg in South Africa are not unique in this regard. Indications are that the world is becoming more and more urban. People are moving from rural areas to cities every day. According to Stats SA, over 66% of the total South African population live in urban areas and cities. This is expected to climb to 71% in the next decade. And at the current rates of migration, 80% of all South Africans will be living in cities. In an economy ravaged by COVID-19 pandemic, people are experiencing economic hardships and generally believe that cities have a potential to offer respite for their unfortunate circumstances. This means that the harder times in the country and the region, the more attractive the city such as Johannesburg becomes for those in other parts of the country and the region. The implications of such pull and push factors is that families find themselves on the peripheries of the city where there are no proper amenities such as water, sewer, and electricity. This is mainly because such settlements are either on privately owned land or on one that has been earmarked for a different purpose. They arrive with their parents or are born into settlements that the law does not recognize. Naturally, then there arises a need for someone to provide early childhood development in their own locality. Just as settlement itself arose from desperation and often in defiance of the laws regulating establishments of human settlements, the ECDs that arise in this context are themselves not often compliant early childhood development centers with the regulations. Even as we recognize that some of the ECD centers that spring up in such settlements do so out of a sense of concern for our children, the goodwill of those who start them, we must also demand that certain minimum standards are met and complied with. Born into poverty, these children's parents are forced to have to leave them somewhere as they are either going to look for jobs or, if they are lucky, go to their places of employment. The youngest children of our city and many other cities are caught up in this mix. And unless they are able to accumulate skills early on in their development that are necessary for their future cognitive abilities, they risk being trapped in and reproducing the cycle of poverty they were born in. Research conducted on resilience has indicated that early childhood years represents very critical years in which children need to have access to good quality care and opportunities for key areas such as learning, adequate nutrition, community support, facilitation of positive development in cognitive and social skills, as well as self-regulation. Children who have a healthy attachment relationships, as well as good adaptive internal resources, have an incredible